Whoa, and welcome. Behave. I hope you're all doing well. I'm working some more on my Egyptian mermaid. Tomorrow is my birthday. So, I'm not necessarily excited about the actual birthday, but I am about getting to see my best friend, her husband, and her baby for the first time in a while, and can actually pick up the baby and hold her. I say that and she's like 3, almost 4. So I guess she's not a baby anymore. She'll always be a baby to me. Such a mess. No, it's hot again. I thought about doing a night swim, but I don't know. I just didn't want to get wet for some reason. Plus, I just have this fear of going out there while the cicadas are running around. Not that we've had that many yet. Hopefully, we won't. But and them deciding to attack me. I mean, luckily they don't bite or anything, but I just picture them swarming. Being like, yes, she's alone in the water. I'll be surprised if we don't find some in the pool and stuff. I hear them in the mornings sometimes. Just barely, so I don't know that there's that many out. I think there'll be more out during June, maybe. But it's almost June. But I thought it'd be deafening. There's been years when, and I may be speaking too soon, and a bunch of them come out at one time. But there's been years, there's different broods or whatever. And as such, there's not going to be as many some years. But this year there's 3 different broods coming all at one time, so that's why it's going to be supposed to be worse. Anyway, I'm just we're getting, do we have to have this too? On top of everything else. I mean, they're just annoying, but hopefully the birds can keep them at bay. Yeah. It'll feel so weird having a gathering for the first time in forever. I won't know what to think. I mean, I guess I gotta get over it, and I know everybody but the baby will be vaccinated. So there's that. And not only that, but that's not what I want. I'm actually going to see if I can get me some people, some living beings on here. It may be a hopeless cause, but why are you making that weird noise for, Samantha? I guess I've got to straighten up the house a little bit tomorrow. I did a little bit pre-infantly tonight, but there's still a lot I need to do. I was mentally exhausted from today, and physically a little bit too. We had corporate coming into the store today, so that's a fun diddly-doo-dah time. So, boop. I've got nails on my hand right now, on my left thumb. I'm just like, it'd be better to cut it off. It irritates me so. I should take some Claritin so that I can breathe. So do y'all have any birthday traditions? I do have some. My mother, who passed away in 2020, she had us every year up until she died do with this like birthday candle thing, and it only goes up to like 21, and we had to take a picture of that. And like I still have those darn things in a closet, and I can't bring myself to get rid of them, but my brother and I both were like, we don't really want to use them necessarily anymore, so maybe if I have kids I'll pull them out. So we'll see. And they may just become relics of the past. There's a couple of other things like that where I need to make up my mind as to what to do with it. Something we did every year besides this past year, due to spiky round boy restrictions, my friends and I would get together and we'd have a dinner and just hang out, watch movies, that sort of thing. It was always a lot of fun, and I really hated the fact that I couldn't have it last year. Like, it was really irritating. I'm sure there was stuff that was irritating to everybody, but like, I don't know. I think as I was dealing with so much other stuff, that just seemed like such a slap in the face. And again, I know that that it's not necessarily anything against me, and it was for everybody's safety and blah blah blah, but it's just like I'd already been through so much that it just, I don't know. But I guess everybody has their own story, own trauma that they faced last year. This year's looking up, so hopefully we'll continue on that trend. I still not necessarily comfortable without wearing my mask in the grocery store. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to eventually, I guess, but I'm not there yet. I'm really happy with how this mermaid's turning out so far. I'm going to shade the wrap, I guess, the rags that she's wrapped in, to make them look a bit more old and worn. I may even tether the ends of the rope a bit more, or the winery, I guess. I'm not there yet. I feel like I make decisions like that so late in the game. It's like, man, sure, we'll say that's a thing that happened. I got my friend to watch some of the Batman animated series, and she really likes it so far. I told her to skip the last season. So that's good. I'm still freaking hungry. I ate like 3 pieces of pizza and like 2 popsicles. What is wrong with me? And I had okay lunch. I had McDonald's with fries and chicken nuggets and a smoothie. Their strawberry smoothie is surprisingly delicious. It's a little bit tart, but I was kind of craving that anyway, so I'm just like, wow. So That's always fun. And, so I doubt that but anyway. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is make them look a little bit more like shaded or whatever. I don't know. I clearly only halfway know what I'm doing. I need to do a whole sheet of like faces and facial expressions, because I feel like I'm being lazy, or I'm just like trying to make it look pretty. And that's not necessarily interesting. So that's always a good time. My dad is hilarious. I told him I wanted to do the friend thing, and I didn't care to, pick something reasonable and to help with it or whatever. And he's like, okay, but we're gonna go to a restaurant too. Which one do you want? And I've still gotta decide that, by the way. But I'm not sure. I don't really want O'Charlie's. The last couple times we've went, it's just been a disaster. I'm just like, no. At least for holidays. I think we went one time non-holiday related and it went fine. It's just when, like, okay, Christmas Eve, and I told everybody this story before on a stream or something, but he was gone for like 2 hours, and normally it takes like maybe 20 minutes to get there and back. But because we had a snowstorm, he couldn't just, pop in, basically. And he had to be rescued by a neighbor. And the next time he went was for St. Patrick's Day, I guess. I am thinking, or Valentine's Day. I'm thinking it was Valentine's Day, because I made a stream or a video about it because of how mad I was. Basically, we ordered salads, my aunt and I did. My brother got like a hamburger or a steak, I think. My father ordered fish and chips. And Like, part of it was my father's fault, to be honest. He didn't check the order. And we tried to call them, and they refused to answer the phone. And we were heading that way anyway. And, like, it was just such a mess. I don't know what to color the fins and the tail. Maybe a third shade of blue. I thought about doing it like her skin tone, but I started to color it in like maybe even a slightly darker shade of that skin toned, but it just didn't quite look right. It looked like I was trying to make her into a worm or something. I'm like, no, I want her to be pretty. She doesn't need to look like a worm, because I think part of it is I think of a worm as like a solid color. And it might not look too bad if like I did a fade with like the skin tone underneath it, and I didn't have necessarily the skirt or the wrapping to kind of break it up. But the fact that I have those things kind of breaking the tail up a little bit, I think the darker color kind of distracts. I don't know. We may try the skin tone again after I get the wrappings colored and see if I like it better that way. But the fact that it was kind of, separated a bit, I just didn't particularly care for it. At a glance, but you know how it is sometimes. You gotta kind of decide what you want, where and when, and for how long to do it for, and all that good jazz. Oh, I
Here's something you ordered.
Oh, thank you. And that was my brother. He's staying with us at the moment, or with me. Ooh. We ordered Father's Day stuff, and he was handing me some stuff. I always feel like I'm so slow when I color in something. I do autofill, but it's like, I don't know. But anyway, I ordered my cake, and the decorator, or rather she, we got to talking, and she liked the top I was wearing, and it was a Hercules top. And she's like, I love Hercules. It's one of my favorite films. I have it, the soundtrack and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, it's one of my favorites too. And I don't know how the subject got onto art, but somehow it did. And I was like, Disney needs to hire me with how much fan art I do for them. Not that I do a huge amount of fan art for Disney, but I do a good, decent chunk. And she's like, oh, do you have something that I can see? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I showed her the Rapunzel piece that I did a while back. The Miraculous piece I just finished like not that long ago, and something else. And she was like, oh my god, you're so good. And I felt so weird about it. I don't know. I don't have an issue a lot of times sharing my art or anything. I don't expect compliments or anything, but I don't know. I just have never really been that self-conscious about it. At least not in person. Like online, it was a different story. I was a little bit self-conscious about it. But in person, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, look at my sketchbook. I don't care. And I don't understand what the difference was to me. I guess because it's a one-on-one. Like, at least, in person, they usually feel obligated to say something nice. Or if they don't say anything nice, they're not necessarily gonna rip it a new one. They're like, oh, that's nice, half-heartedly or whatever. But if it's online, they can rip you a new one, and who cares? I think that may have been my point, although I've never really anything too bad in terms of that. Part of that is I've had the advantage of, I've been drawing since I was 14. I only started posting my art 3 years ago. So I was 30 or almost 30 when I started posting online. And don't get me wrong, I have massively improved since then, but I didn't have some of the pitfalls that people necessarily, laugh at. And I'm not saying you don't need to go through these phases or whatever, but like, I didn't necessarily have like the neon Mary Sue type character. I'm not saying that my characters aren't Mary Sue's deep down or whatever you look down, Douglas, but they're not like, this is totally not Twilight Sparkle, and she's totally of the entire universe of Celestia, not Celestia or Icrustia, but Celestia or whatever. And like just changing it just enough to not be in copyright or whatever infringement. And so I didn't have that. I never traced anything, like I never posted anything like that, and I had been done with that phase since I was like 13-ish anyway. Maybe I did a little at 14, but not as badly. And no one ever called me out for being a thief or whatever. I've had some people question if I do my own art or whatever before, which is one reason why I started to stream to begin with. I've had some people on a critique site, like, the eyes on the character was big, and that's all they were going on and on about, like, really tore up the fact that they were anime style eyes. Now, don't get me that wrong, that piece is bad and it needed some help, but at the time it was one of my better pieces I had ever done. And that's probably the only time someone's been really negative towards my art. There was one time in middle school someone crumpled a piece that I'd worked on, but that's... really about it. I can see if I can find that piece here in a minute. First, I think I can... Let's see. I never delete any of my old art, so that tells you. Oh, here it is. In all fairness, lines are too thick. The position of the body is wrong. Like, it needs some help. The lighting's a bit wonky. Like, it definitely needs some loving care. I might redraw this at some point, because I've definitely really improved since then. The eyes are a bit off, or the eye in this case, but the person was really... I made that into a print. Oh my freaking god, I need to change that. But I don't want to necessarily be mean to the person, but I felt like they were a bit too harsh at the time. It definitely could use some improvement, but it's not the worst thing I've ever done, and it's probably not gonna, day is not necessarily the same in the future. It's just one of those things. You're constantly improving. Don't necessarily knock yourself for a loop or whatever. Just be happy that you're improving and to keep on going for the good fight or whatever. I'd hoped that some people would have joined me, considering it's my birthday stream. Well, I guess technically tomorrow is my birthday, but... I probably won't have a chance to tomorrow. I'm not sure I should slightly unwrap the hands and or the arms, or leave them fully wrapped. Because I did the tail partially because I thought it looked cool. Not necessarily. And I wanted to show off her cute face. Need to work on the nose. It's a little too small for the look I'm going for. There's a friend I have likes to say that they're a bigger deal than they actually are. And like they claim to be a certain professional that requires a doctorate degree basically. And not even close to that. They're not even in school for that. And, you know, if that's their dream, fine. But don't claim you're that thing unless you are that thing. Like, if it was a hobby thing, then sure. But claiming to be the actual professional that is that thing. And it's basically the equivalent of saying you're a doctor, but you're not even in school to learn medicine. And get an idea of what she's saying without necessarily giving away. And anyway, I was saying, well, if she is this thing, then I guess I'm a world famous artist, world renowned. People are gonna start buying my prints for $3,000 a piece or whatever. And my aunt's like, well, I think you're, you know, a world famous artist. The world just hasn't found you yet. And I'm just like, well, hopefully they'll get on that.
Where are you?
It's really driving me crazy when it comes to coloring. I think I could just like put underneath the wraps, but no way I got time for that. Ugh. For those who watch my streams, what would be a good time for me to start and or finish? Like, I don't honestly know. Like, I enjoy doing them, but hardly anyone ever shows up. So it's just like, I guess I could offer free art the next time, maybe. Or whatever. Like, limit it to like 3 people or whatever. But they have to watch for at least part of the stream or whatever. Like, haha, you have to watch it. You don't necessarily have to subscribe or whatever, but off here. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day, and remember to like, subscribe, comment, happy birthday down in the comments down below, and I'll be seeing y'all next time. Bye.